What's up, guys? Want to appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to be talking with a guest today, talking about growing a fleet, what it's like, what it takes. So hopefully we'll get some people in here, get you guys tuned in. We'll get him on here and see what he has to say about what it's like to work with the trucking guy and the advice that he's got from us, and see how it works out for him and how he's been able to use the knowledge to grow. So hopefully he'll come in here quickly and we'll make it happen. I think we're about to be rolling. Let's
Good
see,
deal.
man. Can you hear me, brother?
I can hear you.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. How we doing, man? We're live. All right, man. So without further ado, I appreciate you joining up, man. I really appreciate you coming on. Let's go ahead
Yes,
and
sir.
just take 2 seconds to introduce yourself and tell them who you are, where you at, what you guys do for a second, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so we're in the hot shot business. My name's Jacob Flanagan with Alpine Automotive. My wife is my sidekick and partner in chief, Alex Flanagan. She's not going to be here tonight, but we've learned a lot from you, man. It's been one of those things and one of those experiences that had we not had you, we wouldn't be where we were or where we are currently. So, big shout out to you for that, man.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I really appreciate that, man. So let's talk a little bit about what you guys are doing, man, and how many trucks you have right now. Where you guys started? What, about a year ago or something like that? 6 months ago?
No, yeah, our DOT went active 5 months ago.
5 months.
So in
Okay.
5 months, yeah, in 5 months, we're going to be with our actually our eighth, ninth, and 10th driver will be coming on pretty soon, and we've been pretty we have vetted the drivers. We
Hmm.
wanted to make certain that we've done this thing right, keeping up the safety score there.
Right.
And we wanted guys that were approachable, guys that were professional, guys that had a little bit of a background in it already. That was very important to us.
Right.
You don't want somebody out there whipping around a 40-foot trailer,
Right. Right.
and,
Right.
and and not knowing what's going on. So
Right. Yeah, I know that because you guys, I've been trying to get you guys to push a little harder on the, social media and the website and all that stuff. And you're like, nah, we're going to kind of take our time, grow it slow, do it right. You didn't want to blow up
yeah,
real quick. But I mean, hey, man, and just that short amount of time, 5, 6 months, you guys are already going to be signing on the eighth, ninth, and 10th guy, here real quick. That's awesome, man. So, kind
yeah.
of expand on that a little bit. Let's talk about, just what it took to get people to come on. I know you started and you had some friends already that were wanting to get in, right? So you kind of helped them get a truck or something like that, and then they kind of come, leased on with you, join the team.
Yeah. It was a pretty unique. It's been a pretty unique thing. Our first hire was Bobby. He's been wanting to do this. We run our thing. Really unique. I really wanted it about the driver. I don't like anybody that's disrespectful. Whether it be the broker, whether it be the driver. We wanted very professional people and guys that cared about one another. So, it was unique in its own self. The thing that I love, about the growth aspect is when we set out to do this, Aaron, we didn't set out to do it, fast. We wanted word of mouth. We wanted that old fashioned type growth. And we got it really quick. We've got a lot of drivers with 10, 12, 13, 15 years of experience that are leaving Budweiser. They're leaving, rental places, and they're coming to work with us. They've had their CDLs for years. Actually, just hired Murray Brewer, 31 years in the industry, also retired veteran, had a
Nice.
CDL. Yeah, worked for the Army, retired with the Army.
Yeah, getting those vet
Actually
guys,
went,
man. That's
yeah,
that's that's awesome, man. Those
yeah,
guys come in, they usually are already punctual and have a good work ethic and things like that. That's kind of something that I've tried to, attain as many of those guys as possible because they already have a really good work ethic. So it transfers
yeah.
over into what we do.
Yeah. What's unique, and I think I've told you this, is the majority of my guys have 4-year degrees. So
Yeah.
they're
Isn't that
they're
funny how
finding,
they went to college, man, and
yeah,
then now they're doing this? But
and
it's
that,
just the way it is, man. Because the
it
economy,
is.
you go out there with that 4-year degree, you can't do much. And this, you can make 100, 150 grand a year. You know what I mean,
Yeah,
and kind
yeah,
of control your own destiny.
yeah. And talking with Tim's been the latest hire. It's been really, it's been really cool because I'm out with Tim, I'm training with Tim, and we're going over things. I think he's leaving the ag program at West Alabama. to come over. And Tim is just like, man, had I known this, I would have never went to work, like for the college, I would have just went to work for,
All
for
right.
you a long time ago. And I said, well, we didn't have it open, but it's funny. I don't think it has anything to do with the economy. I think that people are looking to, even if you sign on with us, Aaron, I mean, you and I have had this discussion. That's your truck.
Hmm.
We're just here paying the taxes. We're making certain the paperwork straight. We're, as you know, and this, I have Pro One Dispatch. Rocky's been great. So shout out to Rock. But I'm one of those guys, man. I'm a little bit of a control freak. I can't leave that computer, like I'm
Right.
I'm booking loads. Rock, did you see this? Did you see that? No,
Right.
Jake, send it to me. So, it just means the world to me. I want to see it grow. Murray's coming on. He's going to be our first official semi. Um, you know, I'm taken back. I'm humbled because I'm
Yeah.
learning a whole lot of things that I didn't know in the beginning. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
unique,
awesome, man.
man.
So you guys are mostly messing with like 40-foot hot shots, right? Is what you started with, and now
Yeah,
you all CDL guys, right?
all CDL guys. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
you
when
know,
you first called me, you were like, "Man, I'm looking at doing this and that," and then you watched the video, and you're like, "We're getting our CDLs right now, not even messing
yeah,
with it."
yeah. If they didn't have all, I only had a couple that didn't have their CDL, and I was one. You know that I was one. So I
Hmm.
went out and got my CDL, and I actually did it 2 months. I mean, if you want to get down to the brass tacks, really only 4 months without drivers. I wanted to see and feel, what it was like on that end. When it's cold, you're frustrated, you've got a flat tire. I've experienced it all. You know what I mean? Now you can't experience it all in a couple months, but
Right,
in
right.
in 5 months, I've been in some jams. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it definitely gives you the upper hand when you and I tell that all the time. People should go drive before they open up a company, and not everybody does that. I've got some other clients. Tyler didn't do that; he just went straight to dispatching and running them. But I think it gives you that behind the scenes, peek, man, because you get to see what it's really like out there, like you said, and have a driver's perspective. So when you ask a guy to go do something, you know what it takes to get it done.
That's right.
Shout out
Yeah,
All
yeah,
Miles Matter, man. What's up, guys? If you guys come in, you have any questions, put them on there, man. We'll answer them.
yeah.
But yeah, man. So you guys started with the hot shot thing, and
We
now
did.
and like you said, like really in like 2 months, you've expanded to the 8, 9, 10 trucks because you were driving and just kind of slowly growing for the 4 months, just learning and growing, getting the CDLs and stuff. So in the last few months, you guys have just kind of really blown up with almost no advertising, and and
Yeah,
and and, and that's phenomenal, man. And now you're going
yeah.
into semis. You're signing on your first semi. That's got to be pretty awesome. Talk about that for a second.
So this is going to be a unique thing. We didn't want to go full fledged semi. We wanted to stay, 55, 6500, and that's what we did. We brought Murray on. We're getting a hot shot kit put on that, but he's actually going to be pulling a 45, and then I think we've got an 8 foot deck, up above the gooseneck. We're still trying to work on the details on that, but it's going to
Right.
be a 53. I call it a 53 split. He jumps all over
Yeah.
me. He's old school.
That's
You
the
know,
best
it,
way to diversify. I tell everybody, when they call me, hey, what's the best equipment I can get? I'm like, hey, man, you need to get a 53 step behind a hot shot or whatever you can get to work your hustle. But if you can't get it, a 40-foot works. But if I was going to go buy equipment today, I think you get more bang for your buck because right now you just can't buy a good semi. They're crazy priced. There's no good
they are. They're
financing out
insane.
there, and they want
Yeah,
50% down, and then the truck's got 500, 800,000 miles on it. It's
that's right.
crazy. So you can go
That's
buy a
right.
brand new 5500, 6500 series truck and put a 53 step deck behind a cabin chassis, run it just like a semi and make that money.
That's it. That's it. And all of our guys, man, I think, one of the things that we discussed in the beginning that you gave me the heads up on, and you remember this conversation because I called you about one of the trucks that were a little older. You was like, no, Jake, 5-year-old truck in this industry is going to get beat the heck and back. And sure enough, I mean, you were right. So, we started flipping those trucks and getting those trucks out of the inventory and we started getting in new trucks. And we're running pretty much new across the board.
Awesome.
But when they do hit that 5-year mark, I tell my drivers, when they're coming on and, maybe they're bringing a vehicle to the party, as I like to call it. But, you got to pay attention to that equipment, not only
Yeah.
for safety purposes, DOT purposes, but for you. I mean, your longevity
Keep
in
it on
the
the
industry.
road.
Yeah, yeah. And something else I'm proud of. Shout out to my wife for this. We just talked about having a different experience for the driver. We're eventually going to get there to the 401k. That's what we want. We want longevity. We want to change I want to change the face of hot shot. You know, everybody has kind of given hot shot just a, oh, it's hot shot. No, man, you can still be professional. You can be
Yeah,
professional at anything you do. You can be damn good and professional at what you do. And and that's one of the things that, I want to encourage people. One of the things she said, I want our guys to have great insurance. I want our guys to be taken care of. And and I do too. So we
yeah,
went out and we got insurance for our guys. The majority of our guys don't even have a copay. They don't even have to meet a deductible. Like
right.
we just wanted it to be about the driver. Care about the driver. Don't just say it, do it.
Right. And
And
that's awesome, man, because it can be done, man. Everybody kind of,
yeah.
and again, we're the hot shots. I started in hot shot, and now we have the semis and the big fleet stuff. But I
Hmm.
still have a soft spot for hot shot because that's how I got started. That's how I got in the industry, and I think that's
Yeah.
the easiest barrier to entry to get into the industry. It's the best, cheapest way, the fastest way. You got to have a CDL and a plan and experience to even buy a semi. A
That's
hot
right.
shot, you can go put 5,000 down, you good moderate credit score, and roll on. And
Right.
start building a business. And that I think that's the American dream right there. You see so many people doing it. And then people like you who bring, people always ask me, well, why sign on with somebody or why start a company? Why would somebody want to sign on with me? Because you
Yeah.
bring value to the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
you like you just said, you're wanting to build a big think idea, a big brand idea where people have insurance, they have, you're handling dispatch and all this stuff,
Right.
but that way they can just focus on what they want to do, which is just drive. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they can,
Yeah.
and some people don't want to start their own company, guys. I know everybody's like, oh, screw that, you should just do it yourself. But some people don't want to do that. They want to
Yeah.
just pick up the load and drop it off and have an easier lifestyle, and not handle all the paperwork and back office and taxes and payroll and all that
Right.
shit.
Well, I'm a night owl. So there's not one of my guys that, if they're coming off a bad week, we all have them. You know that we can't control freight, right? One of my guys coming off a bad week, and I know that we got to get him caught up. Guess who goes out and team drives with him the entire week and gives him 100% of it? You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what we do here. So that's why we're not just bringing on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We are here for the driver. I mean, without the drivers, there are no dispatchers. Without the drivers, there are no loads. And we just got to get back to that good old American blue
Yeah.
collar respect, man.
Professionalism,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
everybody shake hand, do hand
absolutely.
business on a handshake and make it work.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I mean,
it's like, man, and one of the guys said, there's a few comments in here. We'll get to them in a second, guys. We're not skipping you, but I don't think Jacob can see them. But one of the guys said,
no, I can't.
any advice for a new entry? We'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, so talk about, you came out of another industry completely, and you just started this year, dived head first into trucking, but you came out of something else, right? What was you doing before this?
Yeah, so I was working with NASCAR Technical Institute, going around and speaking with kids. So I've always been around the automotive and transportation industry. I've always had a passion for the transportation industry. And I mean, what kid doesn't grow up and look out his window and see, a huge, I know I can't cuss on here, but
No, you can cuss. Hey, man, we keep it fucking
oh
real
yeah,
here.
yeah.
So
What kid don't look out and see, an old school badass,
yeah,
18-wheeler and want to honk the horn, and want them to honk the horn. I mean, it's, I'm just, what can I say, man? I'm 100%, American born and raised and love our country and love our people,
right.
and love all our people. And and that's where the passion comes from, man. I mean, I
Yeah.
absolutely love this
So you've
industry.
always kind of like just, that's true.
Yeah,
All of us when we were a kid, we're like, man, that's cool. You're running
yeah,
by, honk the horn, all that. So it's like you just always kind of had this pull to it, and then you kind of seen
yeah,
the pull to the money and the opportunity to scale and grow, and you're like, man, this is probably a good
yeah,
lane for me to get in.
yeah. It
So
was,
you just hopped in, man. You guys went and started getting trucks and
yeah,
trailers and bam, and then you started getting, now you're getting the growing the owner operators big time, and it seems to
yep,
be working out in just a short window of time. Talk about how difficult it was, because I know you've talked to me, we've talked on the phone, you've had some crazy ass experiences like I have. Everybody in the beginning has those problems. You called me like, you
yeah,
ain't gonna believe this shit. What I mean? So, and I'm
yeah,
like, yeah, you'd be surprised, but I believe I've heard, been there, done that. But how
yeah,
hard was it to
yeah.
really scale to a fleet of 10 trucks?
It was, the scaling part. We weren't certain how fast we wanted to bring on people. We wanted to vet our people, and when I say we want to vet our people, eventually we want to have one person in each state, maybe one, two people in each state. And we eventually want to work our way up the ladder and get 18 wheelers, but we are always going to run hot shots. I mean, at some capacity in our company that will always be there.
Mm.
It was very difficult because you initially think it. I've told you this before. There's somebody who sits behind the curtain when they issue the MCs and the DOTs that are laughing, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't tell you a lot of things. Here's your MC, here's your DOT, and they are just chuckling in the background because, I thought, yeah, we're ready, we're ready to roll. And then here comes the $15,000-$20,000 down for insurance. Here comes lining up, making certain all your trucks are up to par, up to date. Here comes, hey, you got to go get this check, that check, and this check. And for a lot of people, maybe they take shortcuts. Maybe their insurance is a lot less. I'm not saying that it is or it isn't. I'm just telling you from my experience, not to mention, and then you're in this window and there's a lot of things. Then you're in this window of 30 days where nobody wants to run with you. And then 60 days and 90 days. And, oh, you got to have 6 months. Oh, you've got to have a year and a half. So, and it's like you said the other day on another call that you and I were on, the longer you're in this, the more leverage that you have and the better you get.
Right.
And
we were talking about, I said, if I call on the same load that you're going to get, I'm going to automatically get more money for it just because of who I am. And I'm probably already set up and done hundreds of loads with them. And that just comes with time. You can't cheat that. We were talking about, there's no elevator to success. And it seems like, guys, when I talk to my clients or to my friends on here, I want everybody to just see that's a reoccurring theme. Everybody's like, you just can't shortcut it. Like, yeah, we're successful, but we worked our ass off and we grinded. And Jacob's telling you the same thing, that it's just going to come with time. But something I did really want to get into, because I'm proud of you guys able to do this. I told you, you're like, man, these getting beat up, you got to get direct customers. And you guys went out and did it. Talk about that for just a quick second, about how, because you really capitalized on that. You picked up some right around where you're at,
Yeah. I think, just with 3 drivers in December, and this isn't a lot of money to a lot of people, but just with 3 drivers in December, I think we done right at $75,000. Which I'm proud of, because you think about December, it's really only 3 weeks,
right?
So you can sit there and say that's not a lot. That's not. I mean, it is.
Well,
I mean,
3 drivers, that's good. That's awesome, man.
It's a really great month with us.
Right.
We had I think we started out the gate really strong, coming out of Thanksgiving and everything. But we had one driver that was at 14K. We had another driver that was like at 11.9. Another driver that was at 10.2, 10.7. We just do a really good job of, parceling out. And again, this is one of the things, because I'm a control freak in the fact that I want to make certain all the pieces are going the way that they're supposed to go. So I'm either driving, riding with one of my drivers. I not drive if I ever go out with one of my drivers, but I am constantly working. That you tried to get me to come on earlier today. I just couldn't, man. I couldn't break away.
Yeah.
I had a couple guys that hadn't fully been parceled out, or we didn't get that.
That's what it is in the game, though, man. We got to get it done, And when I get done with this one, I've got 3 more to do until 10 p.m. tonight. So but those ones are paying me. This one, I really appreciate you coming on. This is helping me, get some testimonial out there about what it's really like to work with me and things like that. But so you were able to get the direct customers. We said you got to do that. You got to focus on it, and through that, you've been able to increase revenues and do better. And you're still using load boards, obviously, right? But it's at the same time, you're working on, getting out of those load boards, and that just takes time,
It does. And look, I'm not knocking the load boards, right? I think, eventually, we'll be on the load board as well. I want to expand and broker freight as well. That way I can give some of the great freight to my drivers.
Right.
But take care of customers as well. But, it goes back to you. When me and you first had this discussion, you said, look, dispatchers are great, Jake. You want a good dispatcher. And we went out and we got what we feel like, and still feel like is a great dispatcher. But it's like I tell my drivers, if I can get 3 pair of eyes looking at loads for us all day, I would be foolish to be out fishing while y'all are working. I'm never going to do that. I will die in that chair, or I will die in that truck, before I let this business go under. And, we're just not going to do that. And, and that, kudos to you for that, man. You were like, hey, look, you need to dispatch too, Jake. You need to get out there and dispatch.
And everybody looks at me crazy when I say that, man. They're like, oh, I'm going to hire a dispatch company and this and that. I'm like, okay, hire the dispatch company. That's great. I said, but you got to dispatch something, because how do you even know what a good or shitty dispatcher looks like? If you don't even know which one is which, and you're just hiring, you're hoping this guy's going to be better than this guy and that guy's going to be better than this girl. you got to at least know what good or bad looks like. So you do that through learning and dispatching trucks. And, if you've got 10 trucks, you should be able to easily dispatch 3 and still have an easy day, to manage your
Yeah.
business, but at least keep keep it in the fire. And I actually didn't dispatch for like 2.5 years. And I just took on this year, or this year, but the beginning of end of last year, about maybe 5 months, I've been dispatching 5 semis just to keep the blood pumping, what I mean? Just to keep, banging them phones, and to just know what the market is, keep your ear, keep that finger to the pulse type of thing, so that's good that you do that.
Yeah. I mean, that's imperative for us, not just because we're a small business, but we're always going to be, watching all the pieces of the puzzle move, um, being out there with the drivers is awesome. You learn a lot from them. They learn a lot from you, road, how to survive, how time management is crucial out there. And I think that that's another thing that a lot of the drivers, have learned from me, and I've learned from listening to you and talking to Murray and some of the old heads I've brought on. And some of the younger guys, time management is crucial. Knowing how to use every bit of your ELD time. Because DOT is going to check it, man, and
Right.
it literally runs a lot of good drivers away. The ELD, but you just got to get in there and learn how to use it.
Yeah.
So
So when you started out, I think you guys finally reached out to me and booked a consult about what, 2 months into it or something like that. You were already doing about 2 months or something like that.
yeah, we were no, I mean, it was about a month. I mean, it was
Okay.
about a month. Yeah, so I mean, and we took off, man. Our gross every month has been really good.
Yeah, that's
Our
awesome. And you guys are
our
going to continue to grow. I mean, especially you got a
oh
team
yeah,
behind you, man. You got a
yeah,
great family, great wife helping you out, and that's what it takes to be successful, man. As a team,
yeah,
you guys
yeah.
seem to hire good guys, and that's it's going to grow. So, one of the other questions I wanted to get into, what type of trailer? I know you guys are into, and we'll get a couple of these questions real quick, but I know you guys are getting some good trailers, and I think you went and bought a Gator or something like that.
Yeah, so we got 5 Gator Maids that I purchased. I'm real big on trailers. And it's been a blessing to us because Gator Made to me, it's Diamond C, Gator Made Diamond C. You can argue all day long. Those are the 2 top ones.
Yeah.
They're gonna run your best axles. You're gonna get your best customer service from Gator Made. The one thing I'll say is my guy, Derek at Gator Made, right out of Somerset, Kentucky. Phenomenal guy, great salesperson, but also he's gonna make certain if you have any issues with it, he's gonna take care of you. You get it
Right.
from a dealer, you get it from a dealer, you know, they're not gonna care. They're gonna say go to Somerset.
Right.
So why
So
not just get
and
it from
those are
Somerset?
what, 40 and 45 footers you guys are getting over there.
Yeah, 40, 45 footers. We also, we got the landing deck. That's what I call it. Uh, on a few of them, and
Okay.
that, man, look, the more freight you can carry, the more money that you can make, and that's the name of the game. At the end
Talk
of the
about that
day.
with Hot Shot too. That's something I want to touch on because I tell everybody about removing limitations and being able to, partials or king in Hot Shot, having your equipment, tarps, chains, binders, ramps, mega ramps, you know what I mean, and maybe hazmat or whatever to get out, doing wide loads and
Yeah,
things like that. Just get away from that. I know you started doing the wide loads after I talked to you, and you're like, man, this is killer. This is easy. You know what I
yeah,
mean? The way
yeah,
easier than
yeah.
what you thought. I know in the beginning you thought it was going to be real complicated, but it turned out to be a little bit better deal.
Yeah. I mean, with the wide load deals, initially you think the permits are going to cost a lot of money. There's a lot of room for negotiating on these wide load deals. They post them. There's a lot of room in there. So we were able to take advantage and negotiate, better rates. And we just do a good job pulling those. And I actually look for those every day. That's the first thing that I look for right off the bat. We're just not scared of them. Our drivers, they're used to it. But the one thing that I would warn everybody, like I said, Bobby was our first driver, but I went out a month before, I started hiring on anybody and bringing anybody out with me and training them and getting buying another truck. And I thought to myself, all right, I'm not going to buy the tarp yet. I'm not going to buy the chains yet. I'm not going to, I'm just going to go out there with straps only. And of course, Getter Made, we had it all, man. Straps built in on the side. The trailer's just awesome. Guys, you cannot come into this. You are going to cost yourself to sit there day in and day out. You've got to go and you got to have this stuff before you start. You know, I've had drivers, I've interviewed drivers, and hey, man, I don't run tarps. You what? Yeah, no, no, we don't. You know, I'm not going to fool with tarps. Man, it's a tarp job. You know what I
Right.
mean? That you know, if your dispatcher knows what he's doing, you know, that's time.
Right.
You're gonna pay me for my time, or I'm gonna leave your freight sit, you know, I'm not gonna take the load. So your freight can just sit on the board, you
Yeah.
know. But you know, you don't, you know, it's just you have to have the change, you have to have the binders, you have to have the straps. Take it from somebody who messed up, went in, you know, and just said, "Hey, I'm gonna run it," you know, because you look on that load board, and if you're new to the business, you're new to the industry. Oh man, there's plenty of freight to choose from. There's not, you know, because you know when
Yeah.
you start putting in the specialty and the stuff that you do, you know, that's, you know, you got to have those essential tools, and
And
you
it's
know
very
some
competitive. Hot shot is so competitive, man. You got
it
so many
is
people in the parking lot that are willing to tarp that if you're not willing to tarp, you're not going to demand a
right.
premium. And it's like I tell everybody, man, your job's to haul shit. You either got to haul a bunch of shit or specialized shit, one or the other. And if you ain't doing that, then you know what are
Yeah,
they going to pay you for? There's a pickup truck in every parking lot in America. You got to be willing to do a little bit of work. It's not just driving. And it's like people are like, well, tarping this and that in the wintertime, man. It's not necessarily that they need it to be not wet. They just don't want it to
right.
show up full of salt grime and all the merchandise is dirty with road grime, you know?
You
So
know,
that's kind of
our
one of the reasons with the winter tarping.
Yeah, you know, or worse, I've had guys, you know, tell me, you know, that was trying to come into the company, and again, all this is from word of mouth. You know, drivers talk to drivers, other drivers talk to drivers, and they're like, you know, I just don't understand why a lot of, you know, the air conditioner units, you know, they're sitting on top of a roof. Well, you know what? If that company built that air conditioner and it gets tore up in between transit, guess who's getting an air conditioner back?
Right.
Guess who's not making money? You know,
Yep.
not us. The customer's not. Now our job is to protect the customer. You know, if we want to
Right.
move that freight, you know, at a great rate. We want to be up front. We want to be professional. We want to show up with a shirt tails tucked in. You know, clean, proper. You know, ready to go, and you know, strap the load, secure the load, and get it to where it's got to go.
That's that's
You know,
how that's the recipe to win, man, for sure.
that's it. That's it.
So what we're going to answer the question, what advice do you have? Brian Mendez said, what advice do you have for a new entrant? Someone coming in, I guess. What would be some advice for someone that you would give them just coming right off rip?
Yeah. So you know, I think looking back at this now, I mean, you know, truck 2, 3 years old. You know, if I had it to do all over again, I probably would have bought a few used trailers. You know, I went out, went all in. You know, bought some new trailers. But you want great equipment too. So you got to know what you're looking at when you're trying to buy used equipment. Um, Buy used chains, straps, you know, things like that. That's what I would give. I could always say keep your head to the ground and grind hard. Look, you're coming into this industry, that's a must. You know, that is an absolute must. You know, of course you got to grind, but you know, be smart. Be smart with your money. Be smart with your time. Talk to a lot of old heads. Talk to some of the guys that are in it, just got in it. You know, try not to make mistakes that other drivers have made. That's you know that was what was so good about hiring you in. You know, I you know, I can always call you and rely on you to give me great information. There's some guys out there that's not going to give you good information. So watch who you're taking your advice from.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
agree with that. We were actually just talking about that night before last on a live with some guys talking about how there's so many fake gurus out here and you know
yeah,
people taking their money and they're not answering their phone or you know. And I know you guys joined the program and I don't do this for just everybody, so I ain't putting that out there. But certain people that I like, they've got my phone number forever, and we're a team. You know, I'm gonna help them no matter what. And you guys
that's
joined
it.
the program, you know, months ago, and there's been no other fees. But I take your call anytime I can because I want to see you and your family be successful. And some people, you know, they kind of try to take
You've
advantage
never
of that.
not
You never
answered my
have. You've
call.
always just called me when it was real and you really needed, you know, help on that thing. And then, you know, we chit chat and just talk to shit about how well you're doing and how I'm doing things over here and kind of
Yeah,
brainstorm, you know.
you know, and to you, man, you've never not answered my call. I mean, it's like, hey Jake, let me call you right back. You know, you've always, and that's taken us really far, man. You know, because without some of the advice and you know how to work some things, we wouldn't be where we're at today. You know, if it wasn't for you guys. So,
Yeah,
and I
I'm
mean,
always
you and
preaching Cardone, man, and I know you've got
yeah,
that's kind of what we were talking about when we first met. You're like, yeah, man, I know exactly who Grant Cardone is, man, and I'm
yeah, I
always
love
pushing
him to
that
death.
guy, and mentorship is big. I go out to the 10X events and I study that guy like crazy, and people just like him. So I mean, that's cool that we both have that in common. And you know what it's like if and he believes in it. You're gonna pay for mentorship one way or another. You're gonna learn it from the school of hard knocks and figure it out on your own, or have somebody tell you, what to avoid, which way to dodge, which way to go.
Listen, there's two ways. I hired in a driver, that's a little bit younger than what I like. And we got to tallying up some things. I'm not going to put his name out there. He's doing wonderful now. But in about 2 month period of time, he paid about 10 grand, just in education. And it's 10 grand in education that he was told not to do certain things. You're gonna break, you're gonna snap the straps. You're gonna have flat tires. Not having a bottle jack, not having the proper equipment so you can get back up and going. These are things that cost you money.
Mm-hmm.
And had you listened, you would have X in the bank. Because you didn't listen, you just heard us and you didn't absorb it, you have Y in the bank. And when you hold people accountable and say, hey, look, we told you this, we told you this, and we told you this. Jake, you're right. You did tell me, I didn't listen. And it takes ownership. Everybody can make money in this industry, but you have to know how to time manage. You have to hold yourself accountable. Accountability is real huge. You got to hold people that tell you that they're going to give you a load at X amount, and then, you show up and it's Y, or, hey, it's 15,000 pounds and you show up, it's 19,000 pounds. They owe you detention. They owe you something, right? That's your time. And, just out of respect, that they're going to pay it if you approach the situation right. But man, time management, that's really big. Holding yourself accountable. I even have to hold myself accountable. So accountability goes a long way, man.
Absolutely, man. So we got another one in here. Hot Shot by the Mile said, hot shot is a gamble. I think he's kind of saying like, it's a risk. I think anything's a gamble. I don't know about you, man, but to me, anything you do in any industry, you're taking risk. So if you're, it's don't take the risk or take the risk. To me, I'd rather take the risk, go try to do something with my life or whatever. But, hot shot, everybody says jump in a semi, it's better, it's easier. It's a gamble too. I've got semis that break down too, guys. Or whatever. You can't get freight. So, I mean, to me, if you run a hot shot right, and I don't know what Jacob's standpoint is, but if you get customers, if you run it right, if you maximize it, if you get those partials, if you work your ass off, if you remove limitations and you get the hazmat, and you do the wide loads, you can be successful in hot shot. What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, listen, all my guys are hazmat. All my guys have passports. We run in Canada. We run out of Canada. We maximize our drivers. A lot of our drivers didn't come in with those endorsements. I agree with him. I think as you kind of go up and you're going to the 18-wheeler route, I do agree with the sense that it is a gamble. But here's what's also a gamble. If you can't afford one of those big, nice, new $300,000 Western Stars, right? If you can't go drop that wad on that vehicle, and you have to go buy $80,000-$90,000 used vehicle, and then you got to go buy, all kind of replacement parts for this vehicle, man. When you tear down, it's going to catch up with you. Those vehicles are twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times as much to replace and fix. But I do agree with him to a sense. It is a gamble, but back to your point, everything's a gamble, man.
Yeah. To me, everything is, man. So let's kind of close it out with what are your goals and aspirations? Where are you going to take this thing, man? What are you going to do with it? How big are you thinking, man? Where are you going to go? How many trucks? What's the, what is it?
I go back and forth. There are days when I lay my head on the pillow and go, damn, what did I get myself into? And then
Me too, man. Still to this day, I'm like, damn it.
I think my goal, man, I'm careful. So a lot of this stuff I can't kind of keep close to my vest. I don't want. Yeah. We want to get to where we have 1, 2, or 3 options in every state. So you add the states up and do some multiplication, you can kind of figure it out. We're currently working right now. We are fixing to drop YouTube. We are fixing to drop Facebook and Instagram and all the slap chat, as I like to call it. My 18-year-old, my 14-year-old laughs at me. I said, it's Snapchat. It's Snapchat if you're single. It's Slapchat if you're married, son. I don't have it. So,
right.
But it's one of those things, man. We're starting to line up, and we're gonna start expanding. But here's my number one goal or my number one rule, my golden rule. I'm never going to bring anybody into my organization, to our company, and jeopardize other drivers' future with this company that I wouldn't have at my kitchen table for dinner.
Yeah.
If I cannot have you over for dinner, I do not want you to be a part of my company.
I think that's
Uh,
great, man. That's that right there. That 2 cents. I mean, that's all about, and I talk about this in my book, and I talk about it online. Is culture, building culture within your brand. And if somebody don't fit that culture, and or they're whatever outside of the culture, then don't bring them in. It's a an infection. It's a disease in your business because they don't fit the culture. You got to assimilate with people that you like, that have the same
mhm,
moral, legal, ethical values that you would
that's it.
exactly have them at your table.
Yeah, yeah, and and a lot of people can say, well, a lot of people can fool you. They can't fool me, man.
Yeah.
Because when
If
you
you're
put
good at
them
reading people, it's very
yeah,
rare, and I'm one of those people that it's very rare that I get fooled. And when I
yeah,
do, I'm like, damn, I didn't see that coming. But it's a shocker, you know what I mean? It's not just a
yeah,
regular thing. So
yeah,
it's just I usually see people at face value. It's kind of to my detriment, I think, because my wife's like an optimist. She sees the good
yeah,
in everybody, and as soon as
yeah,
I see him, I'm like, that fucking guy, like
yeah. But
instantly. So
I will say this: anybody that's getting into this industry, I don't know. I can't really speak for the semi yet. I think it's going to be a little easier to find loads. Somewhat. You're still going to you're going to be competitive, man.
yeah,
Everybody's out here competing. Uh, you know, um, to the point that I guess I'm trying to make is it's a grind. It's hard. It's not
hmm
easy. You got a lot of guys, because I watched YouTube. One of the things that drew me to you, man, was you just keeping it real. You got a lot of guys that are out here and they're talking like it's just a wonderful world. Guys, it's a dogfight. And it's not a dogfight Monday through Friday. It's a dogfight when you get to Wednesday and you're preparing for the next week.
yeah,
Um, if you're not a worker, if you're not a workaholic, if you're not, you better stay the hell out of this industry because you're gonna get eat up.
yeah,
It's about surrounding yourself with good people like you, hiring in good people, taking care of those people. It's not all about self-indulgence. It's not a we thing. Or excuse me, it's not a me thing, it's a we thing. And like when you figure that out, when you find out that, hey, the reason why guys are coming to work for our company is because they can tell in the interview we care about who we bring in, we care about the company, we care about the people that we bring into this company. Um, and that's just the way we're going to keep it, and people can shoot their mouths off and say what they want to say. I'm going to keep doing what has made me successful all these years.
yeah.
And
There's
that's
always
and
going to
that
be somebody saying something, man. You
always.
just got to ride your lane and screw them.
That's
You know
it.
what I mean?
That's
I'm
it.
sure
That's
there's
it.
people out there somewhere that say shit about me. This
You
guy
know?
says trucking up says semis are easier to get out of hard areas and less headaches trying to find loads. Um, I run both. I would say a little bit, yeah. But I
Yeah.
mean, our hot shots stay rolling 7 days a week, pre-booked, man. And it's all about having customers, having relationships. I have some semis that or hot shots. I'm sorry, that we run like a semi, man. Those guys, do 10,000 a week every week, and
Yep.
it just depends on how you. And it's everybody's work ethic is different. I've got guys that have run strong trucks, and I have guys that want to be home more. So it really just depends on the driver's work ethic. The dispatcher is a part of that too, and then building relationships that
Yeah.
just take time.
I definitely would agree with this comment. But when have I ever took the easy route? you know,
Right.
never, never. But you know what? I love it, and like I said, man, it will always be a staple of our business, and that this is where we chose to start. This is the dog fight we chose to get in, and right now we're winning, and we're going to continue winning.
Yeah,
And
man, that's what I love.
yeah, yeah, when we start hiring in guys, that we're taking care of, both financially, spiritually, and making certain their families, have great health care and 401ks. And as we start building and expanding our enterprise, man, um, we're going to continue to be successful. And the hot shots will always stay a part of this business. I have always loved them. Uh,
Yeah.
you know,
Same
and
here,
you
man.
know
We're going to
what?
continue to grow our fleet with hot shots as big as it can get, man. I ain't going to put a
Yeah,
cap on it.
that's
So,
it. That's it. And look, go get your CDL, man. Do not. I don't have anything against a non-hot shot CDL guy. Just go get your CDL.
yeah.
If you want respect in this industry, go get your CDL. Know what the heck's going on. Get as many endorsements as you can, you know, and give the industry a great name because, in all honesty, man, 90% of the drivers, 80 to 90% of the drivers, both hot shot and semi, are wonderful people, man. Great
Mm-hmm.
people, salt of
Yep.
the earth. You
There's
know what I
always those
mean?
assholes in the bunch, but
Sure.
there's bad apples in everything you do, man. I don't give a shit where you're at, even in church.
Yep.
So it just,
Yep.
you know what I mean? It's like,
Yep.
I
That's
agree
it.
with what you said, man. Is get your CDL. If you want to be taken seriously, you got to demand your respect, and you do that by showing your professionalism
That's it.
and getting your CDL, getting your endorsements, getting your hazmat, you know, and getting out there. Even if you know, there's nothing wrong with getting a hot shot. Go drive a semi for a little bit for a company truck or before you start your own thing or whatever. So at least you know what it's like, and then go buy your hot shot setup, you know.
That's
But
it.
yeah, I
That's it.
love Hot Shot, man. There's nothing wrong with it for me. We're making money with it, and we're going to continue to do it, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good stuff, man. I
I
appreciate you
appreciate
having
you
me
coming
on.
on here, man. Again, thank you for your time. You know, the basically the homework, guys, is what he said. He said it's time management. You know, staying professional and taking care of your drivers, and don't hire just anybody. Hire the people that fit your brand. So I can say it all day long, but here's people right here that you know are doing the same thing and they're successful. So I appreciate it,
That's it.
Jacob. Thank you for coming on.
Yes, sir,
Again,
man.
big thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
All right, buddy. We'll catch
Appreciate it.
up. Thanks.
All right. Bye.